Start.
Hey everybody, it's Dude's Review. I'm Michael Eaton.
And I'm Zach Watson.
And we just got done seeing Joker. Now this is my second time seeing it. The first time I saw this was with Abby, my girlfriend, and her brother Josh. And sadly she could not be with us tonight because she has to study for law class. But I got with my partner in crime here, and I gotta say, I really had low expectations going into this.
That's pretty understandable. When the movie first had its images revealed about what Joaquin Phoenix would wear, everybody was super iffy.
Yeah, but after seeing this, I can honestly say that Joker, for me, is a straight up winner.
It really is. I kind of had both high and low expectations, kind of somewhere in the middle, because, well, it's the Joker. I'm a comic book nerd. If they don't do my Joker right, I'm going to be a little mad.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it was really good. Hi, Ariel.
Hey, Ariel. And also, if you're wondering about the location, we are in the LCU conference room. We are not in the car tonight.
No.
So we decided to change it up a little bit. But yeah, overall, I loved this film. I loved what they did with the origin story of the Joker.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought it was just so smart, so thought-provoking, and just all around just what you would kind of expect with someone like the Joker.
And I got similar stuff about it because the movie, we discussed this in the car, the movie was extremely relevant because of how it was written and how it's acted and portrayed. A lot of the stuff that is said is true to form in multiple things. Like in the movie, you see his notebook multiple occasions, and it says the worst part of having a mental illness is that people expect you to act like you don't have one.
That's also Abby's favorite line of the whole movie.
And that is one of the truest lines that I have seen or heard in any recent film that actually means something more than just being a cheap line before an intense scene.
Yeah, also one of the lines that really spoke to me is, I mean, it's in the trailer, you know it. I used to think my life was a tragedy, but now I realize it's a comedy.
That line.
Wow.
There's a lot to that one to dissect in later times, but...
So overall, guys, what this film is about... Sorry, we're going to go in a little bit of spoilers, but we're going to keep it a little bit... because
nothing too major.
Yeah, for some of you who have not seen it yet. This is basically the supposed origin story of Arthur Fleck, a.k.a. Joker, played by the fantastic, breathtaking Joaquin Phoenix. And basically what this is his supposed attempt at being a stand-up comedian, and of course society, basically Gotham City, is basically tearing him down, and it just digs him further and further into the abyss, and he's already a little mentally off, but because society treats him so much like trash, he just gets further and further insane, and it all culminates in the final scene, which I think you and I both agreed is just pitch perfect.
The final scenes, the final 20-minute segment from start to finish is a rush of both terror and amazement, just because the way that everybody thought this movie was going to be was it was going to be just another quick cash-in, and it was going to be horrible, and we were going to get another Jared Leto.
Oh, no, Jared Leto is not what we get here.
Instead, we got a legitimately good movie that legitimately dives into something relevant, because the whole movie is about mental illness, essentially.
Yeah.
And they use Joker as the catalyst for that message. Well, to this day, people still don't quite understand a lot of different mental illnesses.
Yeah, a lot of them don't see it as a big deal, or they just pass it up.
Or they even think someone's just saying they have it because they want the attention of it.
It's like some sort of pity party, which this movie kind of addresses with Robert De Niro's character.
There's a lot of different times that they've covered a great amount of stuff. Like, one of the most prominent things about Arthur Fleck's character, which, if any of you read the comics, you know Joker has never had a clear-cut origin nor a clear-cut name. Now we have both for him.
Yeah.
Granted, this isn't canonical to the comics, but it's still a great thing to have.
Yeah, it's a wonderful thing to have.
And along with how they do it, though, the cool part about it is we get to know him. It starts it off with, he's a crazy person in some people's eyes, but to others, he's normal. And his primary condition that makes him seem crazy to everybody is the mental condition he has where he laughs uncontrollably even though it's not his emotion that he's trying to get out.
Exactly. That I think is the smartest thing they've ever done with the Joker's laugh.
Now,
in this movie, you know why he laughs,
Yep.
and what's the purpose behind him laughing, which is so smart. I think you said it best, that's one of the smartest things.
It
in this
is,
film.
especially when he's carrying around that little laminated card. He like pulls it out, he hands it to someone like, "Oh, I'm laughing. Here you go." And it says, "Hi, excuse my laughter. Flip over. I have a mental condition that makes me laugh, even though that's not what I'm feeling.
Yeah.
Please return card." Like, that is one of the most genius things ever, because it says, "Hey, I know what I have as a condition.
Mm-hmm.
Please excuse it. I hope this allows you to kind of get an idea of what it's like to be me," because in multiple times we feel horrible for Arthur Fleck.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you said it best. This is the first time I think you ever felt sympathy for the Joker character.
Yep.
I mean, that's brilliant. You feel sympathetic for him. You feel bad that the city is treating him so horribly. And at some points, I mean, you know he's dangerous. You know he's mentally off. But you also kind of agree with what he's saying most of the time.
It's, in one way, it's what everybody says it is. It's a character study on who the Joker was. But on the other hand, it allows you to get a hold and a grasp on something you've never really thought about.
Right.
Like, okay, every Batman movie ever, every Batman origin retelling, every aspect of that, what do you see? Traumatized child because parents were shot dead in an alleyway in front of him. This gives us a reason why they were shot down. Instead of it just being some random mugger who sees them coming out of a theater with a child and thinks, "Hey, I'm going to kill them."
Yeah.
It's instead, well, society is crashing. People are mad. And this dude here, he just called everybody that isn't wealthy a clown. So what do? They dress up as clowns and they rampage. And
Yes.
what happens? He gets what he deserves.
Yes.
Quote unquote.
Amen to that.
And it was a really great way to show us how some of the stuff has affected characters that we could potentially see in further movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I've heard that this version of Joker and the cinematic version will not get to play a role with Robert Pattinson's Batman.
Which I mean, I'm glad you brought that up because I don't really think you need that.
You really don't. If you're going to
Yes.
do a Batman versus Joker story, you have to use the Joker in the world that we created.
Yeah, but basically what this is a setup for the DC Black universe,
Yep.
which is a series of DC movies, only much, much darker and more adult.
In other words, these aren't the kinds of movies you take your kids to. Like in Chapter 2, you don't take your kids to it.
Yeah, there were kids. There were kids in it, Chapter 2, which
I'm still mad about that
Yeah,
one.
and Abby was the same way. She was like, "There are kids there." Yeah, I mean,
But the point is, before we get too far off track, this movie here is the easiest access point. Because for anybody who follows DC Comics in everything they do, they've created this line of comics called Black Label. And it's for all their too dark and too gritty stories. And even stories that are gonna be darker and grittier and have graphic content in terms of violence and gore or nudity that they don't want kids to see. And the Black Label comics are meant for those darker stories to be told without anything holding them back.
and we're not going to go into the actual content of the DC Black comics,
No,
but
not yet.
just take it from us. It's not something you want your kids seeing. You have to be adult.
The reason it's called Black Label and the logo is different on each one, and it even says it on the tags, is it's rated R. It's meant to be an adult story, not your PG-13 story where you'll see a little bit of blood, maybe a backside view or something, but a legitimate R-rated. And these movies are trying to follow that.
And this movie is a great example of that. I mean, it's okay. It's not going to scar you or anything. It's just really going to make you think.
It makes you think about the whole concept of mental illness and how it can be far more of, I don't want to say a burden, but it can be a great eye-opener to what mental illness means to certain people.
Yeah, because I think you and I both have people in our lives dealing with this sort of thing.
Yep.
And it hurts us too.
It does.
Because anyone out there who has mental illness, we pray for you. You are people just like me and Zach. We love you, and you guys are just fantastic.
And the movie opens up pathways to talking about it. And at the same time, it shows how people can be scared of it. Arthur Fleck scared other people because his mental illness, because they didn't understand it.
Yeah.
This movie is trying to say we need to understand it in order to help them. Because of what Arthur did and what his mental illness and what society brought those kinds of things to be, it made it fall in on itself.
Yeah, I totally agree.
This story is powerful.
It's a powerful film, and I know Ariel saw it without you, but thankfully you got to see it with me. And I will say the best thing in this film, Joaquin frickin' Phoenix.
Hands down.
Wow, just blew me away. I felt so much sympathy for this guy. I wanted to hug this guy.
Right?
This society will not give him a break, and Phoenix. Every time Phoenix is on screen, you can see the look in his eyes when he's angry, when he's sad, when he's deranged, when he's just, I can't find the words. He's just so good in this.
And one of my favorite parts that makes you feel bad for him is actually when he's riding the subway and he gets jumped by a couple of wealthy guys. They're young guys out on the town having fun, but they attack him because he was laughing. His condition had kicked in, and they assaulted him on the subway. You feel bad for him because these guys are drunk and they don't care because he's poor. He's one of the quote-unquote clowns of Gotham City. So they attack him.
Yeah.
And you feel so bad for him, and you want him to just be able to shake it off. But
unfortunately, he doesn't.
It's a traumatizing thing, and it's not the first time we see him get attacked in the movie.
Right.
The literal opening credits makes you think this movie's gonna be fun and cheery.
But then it just hits you over the head with reality. Literally hits you over the head, and you've seen it in the trailer. It hits you over the head with cold, hard reality.
Granted, I will say the end credits was pretty comical, actually.
Oh, it was so funny.
Now, for anybody who hasn't seen it yet, just imagine two cartoon characters running across the screen, back and forth, off screen, back on screen, off screen, back on screen, with some bright, happy music playing, and then you just get your little "the end" written across the screen.
Yeah.
Like in Looney Tunes, that was always comical, or Scooby-Doo or Tom and Jerry, and other cartoons that had the back and forth chase scenes.
But this, not only is it funny, it's also unnerving.
Oh, it's very unnerving.
When he walks out of the office in bloody boots. And you don't know if he did something in the other room,
or if he just happens to still have blood on his shoes from getting changed. And it's really, really spooky.
It is, and Phoenix catches it brilliantly. Now, I had a conversation with Abby about this, and I don't know how exactly you feel, but comparing Phoenix to previous ones, he's obviously better than Leto.
Everyone's better than Leto.
Yeah, everyone's better than Leto. If you like Jared Leto, do your research better. He's a little better than Jack Nicholson. He's a little bit, but comparing him and Heath Ledger, I really can't, because it's apples and oranges.
I was gonna say you can't.
They are so different, and they're so brilliant in their own way.
I was gonna say you can't. They are different levels of medium. You got The Dark Knight Rises with Heath Ledger, and that is strictly its own because it's meant for that series. And it was it's the fact that The Dark Knight Rises, that was an action-oriented one.
Yeah.
Because we could also say Cesar Romero goes in the ring as a great Joker, but his Joker was for the Adam West franchise.
He was fun. He was supposed to be
to be corny and cheesy. Jared Leto was corny and cheesy in a bad franchise because he wasn't given the chance to develop. For all we know, he could have been the better Joker, but he never got developed.
No, he never did.
Instead was just seen as some dude who liked to laugh and get tattoos.
Yeah, he was the gangster Joker. And I've talked to people on campus, and they do not like Jared Leto.
Not a lot of people do. But then you get this Joker who is relatable.
Yes.
We understand why. He himself is not the Joker. He himself becomes this persona. And we feel every moment of the ride. And it's a rush of nerves sliding up and down your spine in the most heart-throbbing and terrifying way,
Yeah.
but at the same time you relate to him because anybody could easily just...
Yes.
And I know that sounds controversial, but I mean, like, think about it. This movie is about mental illness. Everybody suffers from something in their life, and it may not be a clinical mental illness, but something happens and somebody may feel depressed, somebody may feel anxiety. We all have it. It's natural. But this man was not given the chance to be a human being. He was not given the chance to earn people's respects or even develop properly because his life, as he stated, he thought was a drama.
But then he realized his whole life was a comedy.
Exactly. And that's the kind of unnerving statement that this movie's trying to make.
I think, honestly, it's one of my favorite movie quotes of all time.
It's...
I mean, there are so many quotes. Like, honestly, I think Ariel said that it's her favorite movie quote.
Yup.
Abby's favorite is obviously about the mental illness. And there's one where he's talking to his therapist in the middle of the film.
Yup.
And he says, "You ask the same questions every week. How's your job? Are you having any negative thoughts? All I have are negative thoughts." I mean, like, dude, I just want to freaking hug you and tell you everything's going to be okay.
Right, because you just feel so bad for him. You want to listen to him, and it literally makes the movie look like no one pays attention.
Exactly. Even the people who are paid to listen to him don't even listen.
Right. Like, you're paid to listen to him, and you don't do it. You're just taking the paycheck and asking the same questions.
Exactly. And also, the cinematography in this film is beautiful.
It really was.
It borders on Dark Knight as one of the most beautiful looking comic-based films I've ever seen. Even though this is a psychological thriller, it's not really a comic book movie. It is still a beautiful looking film. It's it's dark and gritty. It looks like Gotham City.
Right.
But it's shot so beautifully. It's like...
It really is.
It's like beautiful blues and greens and grays. It's just so lovely to look at.
And the way that they shoot all of the different scenes, like all the different segments where you're supposed to feel either unnerved or moved.
Mm-hmm.
And the way they actually make it all flow into a narrative of you don't know what's happening and what's not. It's a perfect case scenario of, hey, you're going to see this image, but we're going to make you see this image.
Yeah.
Like, okay, everybody look at their screens right now.
Mm-hmm.
Here we are. The movie has it to where we look like we're on screen.
Yeah.
But we could instead just be talking to a blank wall in front of us here, and we're just delusional.
Exactly.
Or vice versa.
Yeah, it pulls a sixth sense in a way, which I think is so smart, so brilliantly written, and Todd Phillips just knocked it out of the park. I can't believe that this came from the guy who made the Hangover films.
Well, I haven't seen the Hangover films in a couple of years, so I don't remember the
they're not very funny anymore.
Yeah, they don't age well, I know.
No, but
Hangovers never do.
I do.
You know, we're going to talk about a movie called Joker. We got to make a few quick
Yeah, we have to. But yeah, another thing, I mean, I don't care if this goes on a little long, but this movie is just so good that we could probably teach a class or a lecture.
We could do a lecture. A class is a different story.
Debatable. I can see someone like Dr. Simpson do this.
Well, you could honestly use this movie as a good catalyst for a mental illness class or a psychology class, but that's about it.
Like, you can, like, maybe here at the school, like, use this movie as an example when dealing with, like, psychological behavior.
I mean, that's it. That's something to bring up later on, because the way the movie explains it, it shows it off as it's not a laughing matter.
No.
Granted, half of the movie is a dark joke on itself.
Yeah, it is.
But then again, that's what the Joker is.
Mm-hmm. He's just a dark, dark joke.
Now, if you look into like the kids' memorabilia of Joker, he's just a clown with a twisted sense of humor. He likes to, punch people with a glove, whatever. If
you thought Mark Hamill in Batman the Animated Series was dark, you ain't seen nothing.
It could get darker.
Yeah.
Honestly, one of the things that I said as we were leaving the theater was I expected a bit more grittiness because the
Yeah.
movie was built up to be this incredibly dark and twisted thing. Now, I'm not expecting it to be about as dark as a serial killer movie,
Right.
but I'm expecting it to be dark enough to where I'm going to be terrified to even look in the direction of a clown.
I'm gonna make a wild guess that maybe that's because the studio got in the way. 'Cause-
See, the thing is, though, is after viewing the movie and thinking about it, I'm honestly pretty happy with what we got.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you really.
You got your darkness, you got your grittiness,
You had your comedy too.
you got the
There's
comedy.
there's some very funny moments, especially when Joaquin Phoenix is like walking out of his job and he's dancing and laughing.
Yup. Or like when he's leaving and everybody's questioning him why he got fired over something that happened. We're not going to spoil it.
We're not gonna say
But
what
he
happens.
comes back after grabbing all of his stuff and throwing one of his coworkers under the bus. And he's like, oh, I forgot to punch out. And instead of grabbing his punch card to punch out, he's literally punching the time clock until it falls off the wall. And then he walks out with a big smile on his face. And there's a sign that says, don't forget to smile. Pulls out a marker. Don't smile. Better. And walks on with his day happy as can be.
That was pretty funny.
It was a comical scene for as intense as it was.
There's a lot of funny moments in this, but the comedy does not overshadow the grittiness, the depressive side, and the harsh reality of dealing with mental illness and people looking at you like you're some sort of weirdo.
And none of it actually overshadows the message. The message was the most important thing in the film, hands down. And nothing made that message weaker. In fact, it emphasized the message so prominently that it makes this one of my top 5 films.
Really?
Yeah.
I would definitely say, like, maybe top 10. Like, no, I'll say top 5.
I was going to say, this is
Definitely.
easily in my top 5 list of movies, just because...
It's probably in my top 3 thrillers of all time.
Oh, yeah. Top 3 thrillers, but top 5 overall.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I will say, it is gonna be such a crime if Joaquin Phoenix does not get nominated for something.
Well,
He's gonna win something for this.
he has to. But my thing is they've got the groundwork. If they make a sequel to this movie with Joaquin Phoenix reprising his role as the Joker, now that we've got the groundwork, let's get our Joker.
Yes.
Because if this is going to be a line of Black Label movies for strictly dark and gritty, intense stories from DC's characters on the big screen, go all out and make a new Joker movie that is going to really knock our socks off. We
Yes.
got the one that laid the groundwork and told us, hey, here's a mental illness and here's a bunch of them. Now here we are explaining it to you in a realistic way.
Next movie, they'll go all out.
Right, like
really set Gotham City on fire.
Yep, because now we've got the groundwork, we got the mental illness. Now you can utilize that for stronger stories. Now I'm not saying it's going to be a Joker movie where Joker versus Batman, who's right or who's wrong.
I don't think we're gonna get that.
I doubt it, but if we do, that'd be cool. But point is you've got the groundwork. Now take what you've done with the Joker thus far and emphasize it. Go further with it because clearly this movie tells us there's more to mental illness than, hey, I have it, here's how I cope.
Yeah.
But you could go through and be like, well, how does he get this version of Harley Quinn? How does he truly become the clown prince of crime? How does he do what he does?
And speaking of which, right before the film started, we saw the trailer for Birds of Prey, and I don't know how you feel about it. I'm just saying, as long as they have no Jared Leto, I think it'll be fine.
I doubt they will. I think this one's going to be focused primarily on the women. But I'm still iffy just because it just doesn't look that good.
No.
Like, okay.
I was fooled by Suicide Squad, and
Here's the thing, though.
Sucked.
If we've learned anything else from Joker besides the mental illness that it was trying to teach us, it's that don't judge a book by its trailers. Because at first, when it was just promotional images, we were all like, oh, this don't look good. They don't even have the color scheme right for the Joker. Now here we are, praising this movie.
Yes!
So for all we know, maybe
it was a joke on us.
Maybe
it was a joke on the DC fans.
Now maybe this Birds of Prey movie is going to do the same thing. Maybe it'll be way better than we're expecting.
Hopefully it's not the same people who did Suicide Squad.
I thought James Gunn was coming back for this movie.
I want to say he is.
Or is he rebooting Suicide Squad? Because I thought James Gunn was doing...
Yeah, he's doing The Suicide Squad.
Okay, so he's rebooting the Suicide Squad.
Not the sequel to Suicide Squad, the Suicide Squad.
So he's rebooting Suicide Squad.
Yes, he is.
Okay. I thought it was either this one and that one or just that one. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Point is...
I want to say he's probably helping produce or writing Birds of Prey.
I have no idea. We'll have to look that up and let you know what we find out.
Yeah.
But overall, I have to say, this movie's really worth the watch. And if you go online and you look at IGN scores and the audience scores on Rotten Tomatoes, and if Rotten Tomatoes would ever update, says, let me see the current score of their Rotten Tomatoes score, I'd have to say, the higher the better. This movie gets a definite go see it.
Yes, absolutely. This gives a big thumbs up from me.
And from me.
And also, I think it's the first movie that you and I have seen that ever had a 10 out of 10 score on IGN.
Oh, yeah.
Which is so rare.
It really is rare.
It's like seeing a unicorn. You don't see it.
Not very often.
No.
But, I mean, my God, it deserves it. This movie really deserves what it gets.
It is so good. And if you're someone out there who goes to see this movie and you start thinking these kinds of thoughts, feel free to share with us, because we would love to hear from you. And I know this film touched a lot of you who know people like this, and we feel for you. We really do. I have no other words for how impactful this film is.
Maybe we've already said all we can for now. We have to let the people who haven't seen the movie yet see for themselves.
So that's why we aren't going to tell you anymore. Just, if you haven't, see it.
Really go see it. This movie will entertain you, possibly scare you a little bit, but overall, you'll be walking out of there like, man, that was really good.
Yes. I mean, what would you guys think? If you guys have seen it, what do you think of Joaquin Phoenix's performance? Is he the best? Let us know what you think.
Yep. And if you have any other thoughts on the movie that maybe you'd like to share with us, drop them in the comments below. And
be sure to stay tuned for more upcoming content, because next time we got some more stuff going on.
Yep. I'm still currently in the works of preparing up my Game of Thrones reviews.
Yes.
I'm still trying to figure out some things for the the medical show that I'm wanting to do on here about the different medications and stuff in movies and shows and comics and whatever. And then coming up, I believe in November?
Yeah.
We have a film festival that we're going to be going to in Springfield.
Yes, it is. Route 66 Film Festival.
We're going to be trying our very best to get down there, so we'll be there for hopefully the entire weekend that it's going on.
Yeah, well, it's only for 2 days, but we'll definitely be there.
And what else do we have besides the film festival?
Upcoming we have Dr. Sleep.
Yep, that comes out in November.
Coming soon. We're gonna be seeing Dr. Sleep. We're gonna be seeing I want to say, no, it's not Knives Out. What was the one that you said was the movie version of Clue?
Oh yeah, that was Knives Out.
Oh, even though we already have a movie version of Clue.
This one actually looks good though, because I know this one exists.
But Tim Curry was in the movie.
I didn't know it exists, so therefore it's not on my radar. Therefore it's not good.
Yeah,
this one's on my radar. This one looks good. We have Captain America in this one, for crying out loud.
I know. And
I thought he was still an old man.
We also have James Bond in this.
We got James Bond. We got him. And the way they make it looks like a Sherlock Holmes story, and I can't wait. I want to see it so bad.
And also, we're going to be doing some more animated films.
Yep.
We're doing the upcoming Spy movie with Will Smith and Tom Holland.
I have a lot of hope for that one, because Tom Holland is hilarious, and so is Will Smith.
And I'm just so glad that Tom Holland is home now.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
I mean, you guys know he's back in the MCU, so...
Yep. Well,
you haven't seen his Instagram post about it. It is perfect symbolization of that whole situation. But anyway, guys, we absolutely praise Joker. If you haven't seen it, go see it right now. I know it's late, but still, see it.
Just see it the first chance you get. It is a really good movie. It's a really good watch. It's a great character study as to who the Joker is and was. Mm-hmm. It's a great study as to just mental illness as a whole, and a great way to break yourself into understanding it in smaller aspects with something that honestly affects a lot of people in the world on a daily basis.
Yes.
And everybody all over says it. We're gonna say it, and we're gonna keep beating this dead horse. But if you know, or if you yourself or someone you know is suffering from it, and you get such negative thoughts that you feel like you may be a danger to yourself, call someone you trust. Call some of those hotlines. They do help.
They truly care about you, and they will do everything in their power to make sure that you get the care that you need.
But otherwise, we give it a perfect go see it.
Go see it. 10 out of 10 from us. Double thumbs up.
And with that, I gotta say, I'm Zach Watson.
And I'm Michael Eaton, and we'll see you in the next review.